everyone, it's Vicki from Minerva. I have something really exciting to share with you in today's video. So today we are launching the brand new Minerva Exclusive range of sewing patterns. So this is something we've been working on for about 2 years behind the scenes at Minerva. It's something that me and my mum have worked on and for all that time, and it's something we're really passionate about, really proud of the end product. And yeah, that's why this video is so exciting, to be able to finally announce to the world that we are launching our very own range of sewing patterns. So in the first launch, we are launching 2 patterns. So we have the Victoria Blouse and the Savannah Dress. So I'll obviously in this video, I'll be chatting through the details of both patterns, but I also, and I've got lots of sample garments to show you what it looks like in different fabrics as well. But I just wanted really to sort of chat through the patterns, you know, the process of making them, the sizing charts, you know, what you actually get in the pattern, and just really all, you know, all the details about what you can expect from Minerva sewing patterns going forward. So this idea for launching our own range of patterns. So as you'll probably know at Minerva, you know, we stock, for decades we've stocked all the, you know, the big 4 commercial sewing patterns. We stock over 100 different brands from indie designers nowadays, and you know, none of that is going to change. We love working with you know, indie designers, and we love stocking all the big 4 patterns and having such a big choice on our website. So you might think, you know, why launch your own patterns? Well, myself and my mum, you know, we're both sewers. You know, we're 2 of the owners here at Minerva, my dad being the 3rd, and you know, we've sewn for decades. And I think, you know, over the years there's been particular styles that we've really wanted in a pattern, but just haven't been able to find just exactly what we were looking for. And that really kind of sparked the idea of us creating our own pattern range. And there's obviously an awful lot that goes into making a pattern. So it was something, you know, we thought about for a few years, and then we basically decided to do it. We both had an idea in mind for these patterns that we wanted, you know, we just wished existed in the world. So we then decided to, you know, we're going to actually do this. We're going to create our own pattern range. And so really, you know, myself and my mum are the people that come up with, you know, the designs and, you know, what kind of fabrics we want to sew it in, what kind of details we want to see on the pattern. And, you know, we're coming at it very much from a sewer's point of view, and, you know, what we want the end garment to look and feel like. And then we work with an amazing team that draft, grade and create the instructions for the pattern. So we're working with a professional team of people, you know, who are just amazing at creating these patterns. And between all of us together, you know, we think we've come up with an amazing product that is fully tested, and I'll obviously go through the details of that with you. But yeah, we really hope you're going to love these first 2 patterns. So let me just tell you a little bit more detail about the patterns that we're launching initially. So we have, like I said, the Victoria Blouse, and we'll insert images as I'm talking about the patterns. So this one actually came from an idea in my head, and I love this type of blouse as a casual. You can wear it every day, you know, to work, just around the house. Or it can be dressed up as well, and you could wear it, you know, maybe to go out for a meal or meeting up with friends for a few drinks, that sort of thing. So it definitely has potential to be, you know, dressed up and down. So the main details of this pattern, so we're looking at a V-neck line which crosses over at the front and creates a deep pleat that runs to the hemline. It has grown-on sleeves that are 3/4 in length and finished with a band around the edge of the sleeve. And then the hem, it has a lower hem at the back and a higher hem at the front, and it has little side slits as well, just to kind of accentuate that hemline. So it's quite a simple style, but hopefully really wearable, and there's lots of gorgeous fabrics that you can make it in as well. And that's something really that has worked through the whole process of making these patterns. You know, we've been really sort of looking at it from, you know, what fabrics you could make these patterns in, and, you know, how will that affect the finished garment, and, you know, what ranges we stock here at Minerva that would work really well with these patterns. So we've loads of suggestions for you, and hopefully that can give you loads of ideas and help in terms of choosing the right pattern for your fabric. The right fabric for your pattern rather. Then the second pattern is the Savannah dress. And again, we'll insert images here so you can see the line drawing and the pattern as I'm talking about it. So the Savannah dress is, where the Victoria is designed for woven fabrics, the Savannah dress is designed for knits. And so the Savannah dress has a round neckline that's finished with a band. It has short little grown on sleeves that's finished with an even wider band. Then it has princess seams that come from the neckline and sort of scoop down the body. And on the bottom of that scoop, it has fantastic pockets that just sort of, they just kind of sit in just the right position for where you want a pocket. They're beautifully kind of hidden and concealed, but a really great roomy pocket that's just so, I think, practical and, you know, useful for lots of us. And really the standout feature of the Savannah is what we are calling a cocoon bubble silhouette. So it's not a very exaggerated cocoon shape, it's quite a subtle cocoon shape, but it's definitely there. So there's more fabric in sort of the hip area, and it comes in slightly towards the hemline. And we just think it makes a really comfortable style to wear. And again, it's something that, depending on your fabric choice, you could dress up or down according to, you know, to how and when, where you want to wear it. So those are the two patterns, the two pattern styles. So I think next, let's get into the details of the patterns. Let's cover the sizing and everything that you get included in the patterns themselves. So we'll start with, the Victoria Blouse, but yeah, we'll just chat through generally, I guess, what you get included in the pattern. So first of all, you get a beautiful A4 instruction booklet included in every pattern. It's printed onto silk paper, which is just, it's really beautiful quality. And I think it'll be, you know, it's designed so, I think it's like a work of art, this booklet. It's just so pretty. And hopefully, you know, really clear, easy to digest information in there, which I'll talk through as we go through the video. But yeah, it's just really sort of well spaced out, and hopefully makes all the information and the instructions really sort of digestible and easy to read. Then, of course, you actually get the pattern sheets themselves. So the pattern sheets come obviously with the pattern, and these are A-note sheets. And they are printed on a 63 GSM paper. So this is slightly, well, it's heavier than a tissue paper, like what you would get in a Big Four pattern. So it's definitely stronger and more durable, but it's not quite so thick as the paper that you get in lots of, you know, other pattern, you know, generally indie patterns, which can be quite thick and sometimes a little bit hard to get pins through. So we thought this was like the perfect balance between the two. Yeah, it's got the durability that you want, but it's also quite flexible and, you know, easier to get pins through, and just ever so slightly sheer. So yeah, we thought that offered the best of both worlds. And then you also get included in every pattern, it's just a free little Minerva Maker little woven label, which you can choose if you want, you know, to add into your garments. So I think little labels like this, they just add such a cute and professional finishing touch, don't they? But that's there for you to include if you wish. So first of all, let's have a look at this. Let's talk about the sizing. So this was really important to us at Minerva. As soon as, you know, when we first started looking at how these patterns might, you know, might sort of come into the world, you know, sizing was the first thing that we wanted to make sure that we, you know, covered as many sizes as possible. So for every pattern, you have two different size band options that you can choose from. So the first size band, the smaller of the two, covers sizes A to J, and the second size band covers sizes K to T. So each of them has 10 sizes per size band, covering 20 sizes in total. And that works, so the body measurements for the pattern, sizes A to J covers a bust size of 78 to 106 centimetres, or 29 to 42 inches, and they are drafted for a B cup. The larger size band, which is sizes K to T, they are drafted at a bust size range of 104 to 150 centimetres or 41 to 59 inches, and they are drafted for a D cup. And both of them are drafted for an approx height of 167 centimetres or 5'6" inches. So on our patterns, we don't include labels of sizes, say, like 10, 12, 14, 16, etc. We have named them A, B, C, D, etc. to cover, so from sizes A to T. And the reason we have done this is because our feedback from customers over the years and years here at Minerva is that often people, when they get a sewing pattern, and this can often be people that are new to sewing, they will look at a pattern and think, right, well, I buy a size, 16 or whatever in the shops, so I will make a size 16, and then often might be quite disappointed if the garment then doesn't fit as they'd hoped. So what we have done is we've removed that, and what that does is it kind of forces you to take your measurements and to go off that, which, we understand is a slightly different way of doing it to lots of pattern companies, but we thought it was really important to try and encourage people to work from the body measurements and not from, a number that might, just because you're say a size 12 or whatever in the shops, it doesn't mean that, that's what you're going to be in a sewing pattern. So that's why we've done that. And, obviously the sizing chart is the same on all our patterns. So once you understand, what your measurements are on the body measurements chart, and that might cross several sizes, it might not just be on one, then you understand that for all the patterns in the range. But if you are interested in terms of what sizes that covers, in terms of 8, 10, 12, etc., it's the 20 sizes cover a UK size 2 right through to a UK size 36. So it is a fantastic size range, and like I say, something that was really important to us at Minerva, that we did cover as wide a size range as possible. And how we've done that, so when you draft a pattern and you grade that pattern into all different sizes, you can only grade so far before proportions start start distorting or go out of proportion. So we have drafted that, and this is why there are 2 different size bands you can buy, because they're both drafted from a different block, and each block is then drafted for 10 sizes on each. So that means that we've kept control of proportion, and just all the little details. Like for example, on the larger patterns, you wouldn't draft say like a cuff detail, you wouldn't draft that to the same sort of proportions as you would maybe like on a bodice or something, because it would just skew out of proportion. So yeah, we've done things properly, and we've done it off 2 size blocks to make sure that that the drafting and then the grading from that drafting is really well thought out, really considered, and and that will give you a fantastic fit and a fantastic size, whatever size band you're working from. So yeah, that's mostly what I wanted to mention about the sizing. Now also what we've done, which we've included in the pattern as well, are the finished garment measurements. And I think that's really important to consider those when you're deciding what size of sewing pattern to make. Because with all our patterns, we've obviously, we've designed them to fit a certain way. So it's obviously the way we like them to be fit, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the same as what the next person likes. What you might like, you might want something a little bit more fitted, or something a little bit looser and oversized. And that's the, one of the benefits and the huge joys of sewing, isn't it? That we can make things how we want them to fit and how we want them to feel. So with the body measurement chart and the finished garment measurement chart that you have, if you compare the difference between those 2 numbers, that will tell you how much ease has been designed in the garment style. So on the Victoria blouse, like what I'm wearing, for example, there's quite a lot of ease in this. It is designed to be more loose and oversized. The Savannah, you know, is with it being a cocoon bubble, there's shape, there's going to likely be more ease in that for your body shape. But if you're particularly curvy there, you know, perhaps less there. So it's just something to consider when you're choosing what size you want to make. And I think a really good thing to do is if you have, you know, just a top or a dress that you have at home that you know fits you really well. Doesn't have to be obviously that something exactly the same style of these, but something as similar as possible. If you measure that garment and compare that to the finished garment measurements, you can then see, you know, for example, you might fall into the H body measurement size. But then if you look at the H finished garment measurements and your top or dress that you have is bigger or smaller than that, that would tell you that, oh, well, perhaps you like something a little bit more fitted or something a little bit more oversized. And you can use that information to really help you choose the right size of garment before you even get to, you know, the toiling or the sewing stage. So I think it's really, really helpful to have that and to sort of understand how to use it in making that decision as well. So all of that is in the pattern as well. So yeah, let's take a look through the instruction booklets themselves. So on the front cover, we have obviously the name of the pattern, the line drawing from the front and the back, and then we also have the difficulty rating on here as well. So both these patterns are actually rated easy patterns, but there is a four sort of star or 4 hearts as we've done to rate the pattern. So if it was 1 heart, that would mean it was a beginner pattern. 2 hearts means it's easy. 3 hearts, intermediate, and 4 hearts would be challenging. But both of these patterns we're launching to start with both fall into the easy category. So on the second page, so we have on the inside cover here, we have a bit of a write-up about Minerva Exclusive Patterns, just to kind of introduce you to the range. Then on the next page, we have a table of contents. So you can, if you just quickly want to go to, you know, the cutting layout or, you know, whichever part in the booklet, you can quickly find the page number there. Then we have the pattern description. So we have the line drawing of the pattern, and then also the description of the pattern as well, where we're, you know, talking detail about all the different elements on there. And next up we have the fabric guide. So this tells you the sort of fabrics that you would want to sew your pattern, what it's been designed to be made in. So the Victoria Blouse, for example, has been designed for light to medium weight woven fabrics that have some drape, and it lists here different types. So for example, challis, charmeuse, crepe, georgette, lawn, gauze, those sorts of fabrics. And then in terms of how much fabric you actually need for your size, you would just refer to the size chart and the fabric chart on that page. It also then lists what other supplies you will need, and any sort of like helpful sort of tools and bits that you might need alongside it as well. And then at the bottom here, so in every pattern going forward, we will do this, there is a QR code that you can just scan that takes you through to a video by myself that is talking you through our top fabric suggestions for each pattern. So with these, you know, we'll talk about, you know, just basically all different types of fabrics, so not just like different prints of the same fabric, all different types, so you can start to understand, you know, what sort of characteristics you're looking for in the fabric. And like on the Savannah, for example, you know, what kind of weight and stretch do you need for a knit dress pattern like this? So we're hoping those videos, you know, will be one, really helpful to make sure that you do choose, you know, the sort of fabric that's going to make this sewing this pattern up a success, but also just really inspiring as well. You know, and it might just push you out your comfort zone a little bit to fabrics that maybe you haven't worked with before, but will be lovely for this pattern. So that's, yeah, a free video that comes with every pattern. Then we go on to a fitting guide. So this is a page that talks a lot about fit and gives loads of helpful hints and tips. So we thought this was really important to try and put as much fitting help and advice in the patterns as much as possible, because I think that's where a lot of people come unstuck with a pattern, isn't it? Sometimes, you know, no matter how long you've been sewing as well, fit is always something that we're talking about, isn't it? So we really wanted to include as much help and advice as we could there. And this page here is, you know, more sort of general fitting advice. The next page, so here we talk about specifically the styling and the fit for the Victoria Blouse pattern. So it's pointing out all the details from the line drawing and really, you know, what to look for in that and how that's going to mean that the pattern fits, how the styling, you know, how that's been designed. And it can just really help you sort of digest a pattern and all the different elements that make it up, and, you know, can help you sort of, you know, just understand that before actually sewing it. And I think can really lead to, you know, sort of helping you, you know, get the fit right the first time. The next page is where we have the sizing and the fabric charts. So this was what I was chatting about earlier. So all your body measurements are there, your finished garment measurements, and then the fabrics and notions, the quantities that you'll need to sew every size in the pattern. Then we go on to the pattern inventory. So we've got a list of all the pattern pieces that are included in your pattern. And then at the bottom, we list them all out and it tells you how many to cut of each. And like, for example, if you have any interfacing pieces to cut, it lists all those there as well. And then we have the cutting guide. So this is sort of a general page of help in terms of how, you know, how best to cut out your fabric. So there's loads of hints and tips there as well to help you on cutting out. Next up, we have the cutting layouts. So this covers for every size range, every size rather in the pattern, and for different widths of fabric as well. So that's all really clearly sort of labelled out. So, you know, you just find your size, find the width of fabric that you're working from, and you can follow that cutting layout, you know, to sort of get the most from your fabric. The next we have a sewing guide. So this is full of really sort of useful hints and tips to help with sewing the pattern, and especially I think this for beginners. You know, perhaps if you've sewn lots and lots before, you know, you will probably know lots of these things, but I think sometimes it's just good to be reminded, isn't it, of you know, of all these different stages that can just help, and different sort of hints and tips that can really help you create a professional finish in your garment. And next up we have a sewing guide. So this is a glossary of sewing terms. So all of these may be referenced in the pattern instructions themselves when we come to those. So if there's just, you know, if there's just any you're unsure of, or, you know, if you're new to sewing, you know, we don't sort of take any, we don't assume any sewing knowledge. So everything's fully explained here as well. And then on the next page, this is where, again, with every pattern that we launch in the Minerva Exclusive range, you will have a QR code that you can scan in the pattern, and that will take you to a completely free and full sew along of the pattern. So from start to finish, one of our amazing tutors here at Minerva has filmed a video and will talk you through how to sew the pattern, like I said, from start to finish. So if you are somebody that, you know, prefers to learn visually, or if there's anything that you get stuck on in the instructions, you can just refer to that video, and it's just there as an extra, you know, an extra help, you know, full of hints and tips and lots of advice, and it's just there to hold your hand really through the making of the pattern. So like I said, great for beginners, great for anyone who prefers to learn visually rather than following instructions, and great for anybody, you know, if there's any parts at all that you just, you know, you just would prefer to see it, or have someone talk you through how to do that step, then you can dip in and out of those videos. And at the bottom here as well, we also have a QR code link that links to the product page on Minerva for this pattern, and that's where you can see some amazing versions of these patterns made by real people in the sewing community, you know, made up in all different fabrics, shown on people of all different sizes and shapes. And I just think it's really inspiring, isn't it, to be able to see something made up, and it can really help you, you know, help visualize how something's going to look. And yeah, we, you know, obviously encourage you there to, you know, to create an account on the website, share your own makes, or, you know, your works in progress as well as you're working through a pattern. And if you need any help or advice, you know, there's a whole community of sewists there that, you know, everyone's always so friendly and open to helping each other. So next, then we get onto the sewing instructions themselves. So we have designed these patterns with diagrams or illustrations and you know, obviously words to explain each pattern step. So we have really gone to town on these instructions, but we've also not gone so overboard with them to overcomplicate the process. And these have been tested by so many people that, you know, we really hope that they are going to be really simple to digest, easy to read, and just easy to follow for as many people as possible. But like I say, you know, if you do prefer to learn visually, there is always the sew along there as well, should you wish. And a little thing that we've included in the instructions as well, which I always wish that more sewing pattern companies did this, is we've included a step in the instructions that tells you when the best time is to sew in your woven label. So whether it's this label or, you know, another label that you want to sew in, it tells you the best time to do it. Because I don't know if you're like me, but I always forget that stage and then at the end think, oh, I should have put that in. So we thought we'd include a step in the instructions that, you know, just prompts you to do that. So yeah, all the pages now, we're looking through all the instructions right through to the end of the booklet. And then on this last page here, it basically, you know, says, you know, your Victoria blouse is now complete. And we include hashtags on here that you can use if you want to share your, you know, your finished make on social media or on Minerva. So people can easily, you know, find your versions. And yeah, it's just kind of a little sort of like congratulations page at the end, and you've completed your project, and just encouraging you to share it on the site with us so we can see your amazing makes. And then, yeah, the back of the booklet, so this includes a QR code to the rest of the range of the patterns, which we will be developing over time. So yeah, that's everything you get included in the booklet. I know we'll probably get asked about digital patterns and whether they are coming. And yes, they are going to be coming, but not until next year. We are just launching them as paper patterns to begin with. And yes, but they will be coming later on, if that's what you're interested in. So yeah, I think let's have a look at maybe some of the garments. I'm actually wearing the Victoria blouse at the moment. Now, do bear with me because I am actually, the time this video will go live and when we filmed it, I'm about 30 weeks pregnant. And it isn't designed, you know, it's not a maternity top. So it's not quite fitting how it's designed to, because I've got quite a big bump already. But it still fits me. I'm still wearing it because I love it. And yeah, I wanted to be wearing one of the patterns in this video. But yeah, just do bear in mind that it is fitting over quite a big bump at the moment. So let's have a look at the Victoria blouse samples we have to start with. So actually the first one, so we've got this one on the mannequin. So this is made in our Minerva Exclusive cotton sateen fabric, which has less drape than some of the fabrics samples we're going to look at. But because it's a cotton that has an element of drape, it works so well for the Victoria. And that's one of my favourite prints, the brushstroke, dynamic brushstrokes print. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. And I think if you're a beginner sewer, that's a really lovely option. But again, if you want more help in terms of choosing your fabrics, like I said, there is that QR code link in each booklet that shows, you know, where I talk about fabrics and what, you know, you might want to choose. So the next sample we've got is this one, and this is made in our bubble crepe fabric. And it just has a gorgeous texture to this fabric. So if you're wanting something plain, but you want something a little bit more interesting, that's a really lovely option. You can see how that drape works really, really well. Really lovely. Next up is this sample, which is made in our single georgette fabric. And again, you can see how that hangs really, really well. It's ever so slightly sheer is the georgette. Now, that wouldn't bother me at all wearing it just as it is. But I mean, you could always wear, you know, just make sure you've got nice lingerie underneath. But you can always, you know, you could always wear a little vest top under it. It's actually something I do quite often. Just wearing a little vest top under a top that I under a top that I wear. You know, sometimes just for a little bit of extra warmth, that sort of thing. The other thing with the Victoria blouse to mention specifically is, so you can see this crossover pleat detail in the front here. Might actually be more visible on a plain fabric like this. So you can see the crossover detail here. Now this, we find it's quite interesting. So with a V neckline, obviously some people will want that higher, some people will want that lower. When we were designing the pattern, it was very much, we went back and forward on getting that V height just right. Anything too high and it felt a little bit just too modest. For me personally, you know, this style sort of came from my head, I guess. And anything too low, it felt like, oh, you definitely have to wear a vest top under that. And it just felt, you know, not comfortable enough, I suppose. But obviously everybody's fit is different. Like my mum, for example, proportionally has a smaller bust than me. And she has smaller shoulders than me. She's just more petite overall. So the fit on her, you know, was obviously different to what it was on me. And that, you know, can affect that V neckline and just really how you personally like, you know, how low or not you like a V neck. And because there's quite a bit of ease worked into this pattern, you do have a little bit to play with. So what you can do with this front V is you can choose to, you know, it's designed to be overlapped a certain amount, which is all marked on the pattern, obviously. But when you come to try it on, you know, when you're partway through making the project and just doing a test, you know, check on the fit, if you prefer, you could always overlap it a touch more or a touch less, and that would bring the V neckline higher or lower. So it's just something I wanted to mention in this video because, you know, if you are somebody that really just doesn't like a low V-neck, then you have got that option to just be able to sew that piece a little bit wider and it will overlap the two pieces more, which will naturally bring the the neckline a little bit higher. So it's just quite a very, very simple and easy, but very effective, like sort of hack you can do on the pattern. So the next version we've got, this is in our viscose challis fabric. This is our Bubble Lights print from the Minerva Exclusive range. I think it looks absolutely amazing in this print. And yeah, I've sewn a few in the Minerva Exclusive viscose challis. Wonderful base cloth for this pattern. Then we have a version in our silky charmeuse, and that's very, you know, it's quite glam, really, really pretty version. Then we have a version made up in our linen and viscose Minerva Exclusive range. Really, really beautiful. And yeah, if you love linen, it's just a lovely option. And again, it's the viscose content in that gives it the drape that this pattern really needs. And then the last one I've got is actually a little bit of a wild card that we sewed up just because we were really interested to see how it worked. And like I said, you know, the Victoria Blouse is designed for woven light to medium weight fabrics with drape, but this has actually been made in a knit fabric. So this is our Minerva Exclusive viscose jersey. So it is a medium weight fabric, so it ticks that box. It is a drapey fabric, so it ticks that box, but it's a knit, not a woven. Now, it actually works really well. So if you do want to make this in a knit fabric, you could absolutely, you know, so long as, like I say, it's got some drape, it's not too heavy, I think it works really, really well in a knit. And if anything, just makes it even more comfortable because, you know, it will stretch with the fabric as well, you know, when you're moving out, you know, wearing it. So that's, you know, just another option. I just wanted to show that as well. You know, we're just kind of testing the pattern there, and yeah, it actually, the experiment turned out really well in the end. So the next few samples I've got, so these are all our Savannah Dress samples, and we have loads of these. We just love this pattern. So the first one is our Minerva Exclusive French Terry fabric, and this is in our Boudoir Bouquet print. So you can see there those gorgeous pockets on the dress. It's little grown-on sleeves there, finished with a band, the round neckline, and then these beautiful scoop princess seams. And you can see there, hopefully, you know, that shape, this cocoon bubble silhouette that we talk about. And yeah, it just adds, it's just such a lovely style. Next up, we've made it, so this is in our cable textured knit fabric. And I love fabrics like this where they're plain, but they have something about them. You know, they've just got a little extra detail or interest that makes them really, really just, I don't know, have something extra and special about them. So next up, this one is sewn. So this is in our regular cotton jersey fabric. So this, I see this more as something that you would wear on holiday. It's a little bit lighter in weight. It's going to keep you cooler. It's definitely got a bit more of a casual vibe to it. But really, really lovely. And it looks fantastic in a plain as well as a print. Then going the complete opposite of that, the next sample we've got is in our fleece back sweatshirt fabric. So with this fabric, if like I'll show you on the back there, it's got a fleecy back to it that is so soft and cosy. So this is probably the thickest sort of fabric I would sew a Savannah in, as I chat about in our top fabrics video. But it will make such a warm, cosy, gorgeous, casual dress to wear in like the autumn winter time when it starts getting a bit colder. I think this will probably be a type of version that lots of people might want to sew this pattern in, and I just think it will be so comfortable. I almost feel like secret pyjamas and just so cosy and toasty on the inside. This is another version in our French terry fabric that's just in a different print, and we think it looks really well in that. Then we have a couple of versions. I'll just get them both out together. So a couple of versions made in our stretch knit velvet fabric. So this is a brand new Minerva base cloth that we launched only a couple of weeks ago at Minerva, and you can see how made up in the velvet, just how that moves differently. So you can see with it being a bit of a softer fabric with not as much structure as some of these, the sleeves hang a bit softer, the shape moves a bit different. And we've got one made up in one of the smaller size bands as well. So this, that's in our seedling print, absolutely beautiful. Then we have one made in our sweater knit Minerva Exclusive fabric. So this is gorgeous for the Savannah. It's a little bit more of a casual vibe, everyday sort of dress. But again, it just works really, really well. Slightly softer sleeve again, it just hangs down. Really, really lovely. It also works absolutely fantastically in a Ponte Roma fabric. And that's a sample there made in Ponte Roma. It also works great in a scuba fabric, like in this one. Really, really lovely. And then again, another wild card that I just wanted to say till the end there. So when you look at the instructions for the Savannah pattern, or the fabric recommendations, it recommends a medium to heavy weight knit fabric that that's a stable knit, which are like all those ones that I've just shown you. Ponte Roma, scuba, texture knit, French terry, all those sorts of things. But we've actually sewn a version in viscose jersey, which is our Minerva Exclusive viscose jersey fabric, which is, it's only a medium weight fabric. It's definitely more at the thinner end, and it's very soft and drapey, so it's definitely not a stable knit. However, it worked really, really well. I think it looks gorgeous made up in this, and it definitely gives it very much a holiday, casual, you could wear it on a sunny holiday kind of vibe when it's hot, in the summer. It's really, really lovely. Again, it has that softer sort of sleeve and all that sort of thing. It works so well, and definitely wanted to share that with you just to show that, you can always experiment with the fabric recommendations as well. So that's all the samples. Now on our website, like I said, there is a link in the patterns, but you can just head to the website, and over the next few days and weeks and months, there'll be lots of versions of these shared. Lots of our wonderful, amazing brand ambassadors here at Minerva are sewing up these patterns, so you'll be able to see it made up, both of them in loads of different fabrics, by real people. And we've also got, from the patterns themselves, I don't think I've actually mentioned that, but we go through a huge testing phase here at Minerva. So every pattern is originally sewn up, from the original drafted block size. Once we then sign that off, that's then graded to all the 20 sizes. And at that stage, we test it in-house several times with different people. So we can have lots of pairs of eyes. And then once we're satisfied, with the drafting and the grading of all the different size bands, that's when we then send it out to pattern testers who, we basically sew up the pattern in different fabrics, in different sizes, to see, one, make sure that the instructions definitely make sense to as broad a range of people as possible, to see how the fit is on different people, and really just to test every element of the pattern. So the patterns really are tested to the absolute nth degree before they ever get anywhere near being released out into the world. And we'll hopefully share lots of those on the site as well, so you can see lots of the tester samples and just to be able to see it in lots of different fabrics on lots of different people. And I don't think there's anything more inspiring than that, is there, when you're a sewer, really. So I think that's everything I wanted to chat to you about with the 2 new patterns. We really, really hope that you like them, but I love them both as much as we do. Like I said, so much time, love, and dedication has gone into creating this pattern range. We are so proud of it. And we can't wait to start seeing your versions being sewn up and shared in the world, shared on Minerva. We're just so excited to see what you guys create with these. We already have several versions of each ourselves that we've evolved that have sewn them up. And we really believe in the pattern range and really love the styles that we've created. And we just really hope that you guys do too. Do let me know in the comments which pattern is your favourite, or whether which one you're excited to sew. We'd love to hear from you. It's just something we're so excited about at Minerva, and the plan is to release more patterns, probably patterns, maybe every month, but the quality is more important to us than the speed at getting them out. So we'll launch patterns when they're ready to launch, but I can say we already have another couple in the pipeline that are almost ready to launch now, and they're absolutely amazing. So with so many ideas for patterns, I don't think we're going to run out of ideas anytime soon, and we're just really, really excited to continue developing this range and add lots more gorgeous styles that hopefully you'll want and love sewing. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any more questions about the patterns, do just leave them in the comments and we can answer those for you. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you again soon with some more sewing fabric goodness.